In today's episode, we are talking about the things not to bring to assisted living. And after I recorded this podcast, I was sort of reflecting on what I had shared and thought, I should make something a little clearer. It may come across not in the way that I meant for it to. So there's a portion in here where I share not to bring valuables like jewelry, family heirlooms, large amounts of cash, things like that. And I don't want it to come across at all like I'm saying you will be ripped off and things will be stolen out of your apartment. That's not at all what I meant. I just want you to be safe and not to lose valuables. And it can happen. And I do know some cases where jewelry has been stolen from someone's apartment. And again, I'm not saying that it's the assisted living. There are third parties that come into assisted livings. There are caregivers that are coming in. There are workers from other, home health, home care. Not saying any of those people would steal, but as with anything, I believe the majority of people are good and they're going to do the right thing. But there's always an element. There's a few bad apples, right? So I just think it is wise to leave those things, in a safety deposit box or with your family. So that's all I meant by that. I just wanted to make sure that was clear and what my message was. And also, I forgot to mention that this was episode number 250, which is totally insane. I can't believe we have done 250 episodes and have not run out of things to talk about. Who knows? Maybe we'll do 250 more. I'll just keep going. Welcome to Aging in Style with Lori Williams, the podcast all about finding the silver lining no matter what life throws your way. I'm Lori Williams, an award-winning senior living expert, author, educator, and caregiver to my husband, Mark. Join me as I share insights, tips, and personal stories to help you navigate the world of senior housing, discover ways to pay for care, advocate for your loved ones, and most importantly, learn how to thrive, not just survive, as you age. Hi, welcome to Aging in Style. I am excited you're here today because I want to talk about the things that you should not bring to assisted living. And what got me to thinking about this was someone mentioned not long ago about one of their family members had some jewelry stolen at assisted living. And my mother and her husband are on this journey towards moving to assisted living now. And I just started thinking about things that they need to put in a safety deposit box or give to someone, or, it's too valuable, especially jewelry. My mom has a lot of nice jewelry, and I just would hate that for her if anything was stolen, because unfortunately it can happen. So I put together a list of different items that I think it's important, or different things, different categories or whatever, of things that I think are really important about being aware of that would maybe, be something that you would not want to move to assisted living or memory care or even independent living. So here we go. Let's talk about some of these things. So kind of in no particular order. The first one I had was big, bulky furniture. So when you move from your house to assisted living, and for purposes of this podcast, I'm just going to talk about assisted living. We have all the other different types of senior living as well, but my mind is really focused about assisted living on this episode. So the reason most people are moving to assisted living, there's some mobility issues. So you don't want to make your area super cluttered, right? So, then you're going to potentially fall. And you don't want that to happen. So, don't bring like the big, bulky furniture. You want to get the floor plan for the unit you're moving into and bring pieces of furniture that are going to be appropriate and give you room to get around, especially if you use a walker or a wheelchair. Next on my list, fire hazards. You can't bring hot plates or space heaters, anything like that. That would be a big no-no. We don't want any fires. And as I started off with in this podcast, valuables. So jewelry, especially like if you have some heirloom jewelry, oh my goodness, how awful would that be to lose it in assisted living? We don't want that to happen. Coin collections, stamp collections. I don't know, any kind of collection you may have that may have some value, either monetary value or maybe sentimental value. You want it to go to a grandchild or a niece or nephew or whoever it may be. And don't bring that. Large amounts of cash. Don't bring large amounts of cash. So leave those things with a trusted family member or in a safe deposit box, just somewhere where it is safe. Don't bring too many clothes. I mean, if you have like this closet just jam-packed with clothes, and maybe, and I speak for myself here, some haven't been worn since 1985, don't bring all of those clothes with you. So this is the time to kind of downsize and just say, what have I worn? I know the rule is like, if you haven't worn it in a year, you should get rid of it. And there's this whole thing about how you put things like hang them the wrong way on the hanger, and then you'll see which items over a year's time that you never turned the hanger around because you never took the item of clothes off of that. And I know it's probably a great idea, but have I done it? No, I have not, but I should. So you don't want to bring too many things that your closet is just exploding. You want to bring the things that you actually wear. So just be mindful of what you're bringing. Harsh cleaning chemicals, you don't need to bring any of that. The staff has that covered. You're not going to be doing any cleaning, which is beautiful. They're going to do that for you, because if you remember assisted living, you have your apartment, and included in that is 3 meals a day, housekeeping, your sheets will be washed for you and put on your bed. Then you would have transportation available. And then you do your level of care, which would be whatever your care needs are. So that's how it works with assisted living. So you don't need to worry about cleaning. So don't bring your, I can't even think, Pine Sol. I couldn't even think of a cleaning product. That's pretty bad. That tells y'all that I have someone clean my house, right? So don't bring those things. Gym equipment. You don't need to bring a big old treadmill, because the majority of communities do have treadmills available, and they have exercise rooms and seated exercise and, exercise bikes and all kinds of things that you can use. So if you love exercising, just know you will be taken care of. But, if you have a yoga mat and you like to do stretching or something, little light weights or something like that, by all means, bring that if that's something that you use and want to keep with you. But you don't need to bring anything big, no big equipment. This should go without saying, but I don't know if it's because I'm here in Texas or what, but no, you may not bring your weapons. No, sir. Please do not bring weapons. That is not allowed. And again, that could be another collection people have. They may have their special shotgun that was handed down generation to generation from their great-grandfather. That would be something, obviously, do not bring for 2 reasons. 1, because it is a weapon, and 2, because it may be a family heirloom. So give that to someone for safekeeping. You may not bring weapons. Original legal documents. Don't bring those. Keep those maybe in a safety deposit box or a safe with family members who can keep it very safe for you. Bring copies, but keep your originals secure elsewhere. I think that's an important tip. And also pets. Unless your community allows pets, which we've talked about on the podcast several times, that most communities do allow dogs or cats. There are some restrictions on size and breed of the animal, that sort of thing. You probably wouldn't want to bring, an 85-pound German Shepherd, probably would not be allowed. But, many of the assisted livings do allow dogs and cats, but there's usually, you have to be able to care for it, or someone else is going to care for or you have someone else to come in and take care of the animal. So pets, one of those things that you need to clear first with the assisted living and have a plan in place for that. Those are like the big ones that came to mind as I was thinking about this and thinking about my mom and her move that's coming up. She's on a wait list, which again brings me to another podcast we've done, which is, it's never too soon to look, because a lot of places have waiting lists, especially if you want something specific, like a 2-bedroom apartment. You could be on a waiting list for a month to a year. I mean, who knows? So if you have any, kind of concerns or starting to think maybe the time is getting close, please go and make a plan. I think it's so important, and it gives you such peace of mind to have a plan in place. So the last thing I want to say is just when you move into your apartment and assisted living, And this is the exact thing I told my mom. You want to keep it comfortable and make it like reflect your likes, bring your pictures, your things that make you happy, hang curtains up, just do the things that make it a lovely space for you. And a lot of times when couples are moving into assisted living, and I'll use my mom as an example, my mom really won't have a care need. Her husband, however, will. He has mobility issues and some other things going on. So their plan is to have separate bedrooms. So he will be in one room, she'll be in the other. And so I think in kind of talking to her, kind of our plan, and I've had people do this before, which makes it kind of nice and special. They'll probably bring their set from home, and that'll go for him. And then she is going to buy something new and have new bedding and new curtains and just all new stuff. So, it just feels really nice. You moved into a new place, you have new furniture. And I have a lot of people will do that. They'll realize maybe their king size bed is not going to fit. They need to downsize a little bit, or their big sectional sofa is not going to fit. So they buy something else. So, I'm not saying you have to buy new furniture and stuff to move into assisted living, but I do have people who sometimes they just get rid of their old stuff, and especially if they've had it for years and years, and they just, in some rooms, kind of get a whole new fresh start. But again, always bring the things that make you happy, pictures of the grandkids and just things that, are near and dear to your heart and make you happy. So that's what I have today for you. Just kind of a short one, but I think it's real important. Like I said, we talk about a lot of times what to bring. We never really focus on what not to bring. And just, being in this space now with my mom and, kind of advising her on what to do, I just am realizing I need to make sure people know these things. So there you have it. All right. Thanks for listening. And please share this podcast with your friends, family, neighbors, all the people. And be sure to subscribe so that you will see a new episode come up every Friday. All right. Thanks. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.